All right, everybody. I've tried to keep the pressure up in my own way, throughout this entire ordeal because I just don't want to feel like, something's been taken away from me. And in the same way that I feel like when much has been taken away from me in the past, so much so that it's almost just like the only thing that you can say you have left is soul, but you really have to figure out what soul is, and you have to find your soul to let everybody else know that you have soul. There's sort of a big push there to be able to kind of flip all that around, right? Because if you have soul, then you have a lot more than what everyone else has. And I think that's one of the best ways for you to really try to fight for position. I think that when things try to fight for position with things like that, I think that you do end up being surrounded by things with a lot of the same positions. And I think that's the best way to kind of get yourself to where you want to be realistically. Um, if you want things to be long lasting and to be good natured at the same time, then I think that getting there that way is probably the best way to get there. It mitigates as much things as possible, you know, which is truly possibly the smartest way that you can approach life anyway, no matter where you started life from, is with this idea of mitigation. So I've tried to basically utilize the word to a place where, it's not trying to trick anybody, it's not trying to deceive anybody, it's just being what it is. But at that same point in time, it's like trying to find that soul. It's like trying to find its position, because then once you find a position, you know that control is within your hands because you are a part of things. All for one, one for all, as the saying goes. And I think that, you'll be able to deal with the comings and goings of positions then to be able to figure out how well your soul handles them. But I don't think you should ever be afraid of losing your position, though, because if your position is truly in line with the idea that your soul is free and capable of observing things just like the word is, then I think that that's where you can actually make choices and you can be something which is powerful, but at the same point in time, very mighty. It's something that is approachable because it's so small, but it's indivisible. And I think right at that point in time, you sort of reduced yourself to the atoms of it all. And with that being said, I wrote sort of, you know, another poem, as it were, but the poem sort of just fades into kind of like self reasoning and um, observations of the world, where I get more into the idea of being able to be something that observes. Because I think that that is from the place where you actually do have something, is when you can actually see something, and then in that way you can balance between the two things always with what you are and what you're seeing. And you can try to figure out what the relationship is. Things don't have to be, you know, up the alley of denial, so to speak. I mean, it's perfectly reasonable to say what your relationship is with what you're seeing. It doesn't have to be this whole thing of denial, right? If it's a relationship, then you have a right to understand what that relationship is so you can either distance yourself from it or come closer to it. The advantage is dead. All words with pizzazz have been said. What more is the word then, if then, when alone, they don't tell a story? Do they observe an empty throne? Are words merely backup if the greatest story isn't up, meant to give fluidity to the sounds of reality's stupidity? But what then is stupid, though, if background noise is what experiments with our joys? Can I say stupid words then, if this is the entrance to them? Philidin, the spark between Eredwin, Somerson ether comes matinu, Forth beg set ik vin vet, Nald van in hal, Beshel vex, Irisin ixen adman gull. It's a spell, can't you tell? What does it do? It makes something new. When the odds for success are double-edged with luck and embarrass, I can only think of one way to win when the point of advancement is set so distant. In a world where popularity grows on lucky trees, but all the roots are embarrassing, where anything that can handle either is extremely good with change, in that when advancement comes, they are still the same, not playing games. Woe, though, in that world where then there is oddly so much luck about, it is interchangeable with the word reality, so the only success is necessity. Then amazement comes and goes, but doesn't change much. Then what looms is then the truth, but the truth has another side too, that maybe life actually was favoring you. Then again, all is the same with the question, what is true life, or life true?